If you're a personal trainer, I'm going to take a guess that you like to get creative with your workout programming occasionally. So you may include things like AMRAPS, EMOMs, and ladders. I wanted to show you what you can do in QuickCoach to accommodate for those things. Now, keep in mind that these are not the only ways to create AMRAPs, EMOMs, and ladders and anything else that you can think of, but this will get you started. So there are two ways that we've seen users incorporate AMRAPs, so I'll show you both of those. So one way is to, under the task, is to put in the number of rounds, right? And then create variables for movement, rest, and notes. And then under movement, you would put in how many reps, the exercise, create a line break there, and then any additional movements, and just add that vertical line in between. Now, the only downside of doing it this way is if you do, you can't add this to your task library, right? You're not going to add 3 rounds to your task library. So this would make it to where you cannot track performance. So just kind of keep that in mind with this method. Alternatively, you could, right, make this a task and then create a variable called number of rounds, right? So you could flip-flop this, and then this would be a task in and of itself, and then you'd be able to track this over time. So that's another way to do it as well. And then add in any other variables, you know, rest, notes, and all of that good stuff, right? And so from a client perspective, we see 3 rounds, the movements, rest, and notes, and they would just put in whatever you tell them to in the results box, and that is option 1. Option 2 is to create separate headers for each AMRAP that you want them to do. So for example, if I add a new row here, I can turn this into a header, right? And name this, you know, AMRAP 3, and then however long I want it to be, right? And so what I've done here is I've added or grouped 3 exercises by using supersets. So let's add another row. I'll add an exercise, and we'll turn this into a superset, right? And then I can add in, you know, however many other exercises I want to there, right? So the reason I've done this as a superset is to indicate that it should be, you know, going from exercise to exercise versus, you know, doing multiple sets of an exercise before moving on to the next one. So you don't actually have to include the superset option. You could just have them listed, and then in the plan notes tell them, you know, do 1 set of each exercise before circling around, and do that as many times as you can. All right. And then I would also suggest giving them guidance on what to share in the results box, since it is a limited amount of space. So help them figure out what they should be putting in. So this is another option. For EMOMs, it's really not that much different, really, right? So we'll create a header, name it, tell them how many minutes to do, and then put in the exercise, tell them how many reps they should be doing of each, and then again, provide any guidance in the plan notes. So nothing too crazy there. Then you can also do ladders, right? So typically a ladder would be, you know, do 10 of everything, 9 of everything, 8 of everything, or something along those lines, right? So here what I've done is I've created up to 6 rounds, right? And then within each round, I tell them, okay, I want you to do 10 reps with 10 pounds. Round 2, 8 reps, 12 pounds. And then in the plan notes, just make sure that you provide guidance, right? So do round 1 of all of the exercises before moving on to round 2 and round 3. And then, you know, tell them if you also want them to go backwards as well. So that would be how you would do ladders. So again, just a few ideas to show you what you might or how you might set up those things. But again, feel free to experiment and play around.